Hello everyone, welcome back to the video series of Cloud Fundamentals by IIHT. Now, in this video series, we are going to go ahead and cover the practicals. Okay, so the very first video in this, we'll talk about the walkthrough Microsoft Azure, and after that, we are going to go ahead and have a walkthrough Amazon AWS. Okay, so to work on your Microsoft Azure cloud, the very first thing is you need to have an ID which is associated with Microsoft. Right, you can have any of the IDs. You can have it on Gmail ID, you can have your Outlook IDs, right? But if you are having any other ID or any other email ID that you are having and which is non-Microsoft ID, for example, you don't have an ID which is at outlook.com or the live.com, right? Let's say I got an ID at gmail.com. Now that ID you cannot use directly with Microsoft Azure. Now instead what you need to do was with the same ID, let's say I got an email ID xyz@gmail.com. Now what you need to do is, step one would be first go to the Microsoft portal and create an account onto the Microsoft portal with the help of your Gmail ID. Once you do that, after that you will be able to use this particular ID for Microsoft Azure account, right? So here you have the Azure portal open in front of you. So here what generally you need to do is the website for this is portal.azure.com. Now the previous portal that we had was the classical portal, right? This particular portal that you see in front of you is called as Azure Management Portal, right? So here all your resources would be listed. So currently I'm at the dashboard. Now once I come to the dashboard, here on the left hand side you can see that all the creating of the resources and your the other groups, each and every thing would be listed over here, right? So if you see here on this particular side, right, so here it says all the resources, so whatever resources are available for you, right? So all the resources or whatever resources you have created, right, all those resources, it will be displaying in the center pane of the dashboard. Now if you go ahead and check onto the left hand side, right, so here it is all about creating a resource group. Right, so when we talk about creating the resource group, so resource groups are all about the resources. What are the resources that you are going to have into your portal or into your cloud, the resource that you are going to use for your services. Let's say if I'm going ahead and creating a virtual machine, then definitely I would require a resource group to be created, right? So let's say I did not create a resource group and directly I go ahead and I start with creating of the virtual machine, then in that case also it is going to ask me to create the resource group there. So from there also it can be created, right? So you can either create it from here directly. You can just click on create the resource group and it will take you to the portal where you can go ahead and create the resource group. So what kind of group would you like to create, right? So all those details it would give you here. Then go to the all services. Also, so these are the different kinds of services that the Microsoft Azure is providing. So already in the yesterday's video or in the previous video series, we have seen that all about your the compute resources, your network resources, right? So if I just scroll it down, you can see here your compute resources. So under the compute, you have got 20 types of different services are available over here. So you see the virtual machines are available, virtual machine scale sets are there, you got functioning or the function apps are there, your different kinds of instances will be there, taking the snapshot. Now the one more beautiful thing that you see here is there's something called as over there down, if you see, there's something called as Citrix Zen Desktop Essentials, right? So before we did not have this Citrix services available onto the Microsoft Azure platform, but now if you see, as I have told you previously, that Microsoft and Citrix have had the tie-up together, so they are also providing you the Citrix services over here, right? So right in front of you, whatever you see as of now, these are for your compute resources, which will directly be deployed onto your hypervisors, right? If I scroll down further, you got your different network resources are available, right? Your routing table, your different connections, your DNS zones, those you're going to go ahead and create here, your CDN profiles, right? All your reserved IP addresses, your load balancers, right? So when you talk about the load balancers, so load balancers are all about your network, related to the network, how exactly you would go ahead and perform the load balancing of the network, right? So all those things comes under your network resources, right? Then if I scroll it down further, I have something called as storage, and I have got web, right? So we have had a discussion before also, right? So under storage, you can create different storage accounts, your recovery wallets, your data lake stores, right? And you have got something called as your simple storage device manager, right? So the different kinds of storages also you can create here. The same thing, they have also given you the tools for to work about the web applications, or you can say that going ahead and deploying the websites, right? So all those things are provided over here. If we scroll down further, you are all about your mobile services, your databases, what we have already spoken about, right? So majority of the databases that we talk about here is all maximum is your the Microsoft databases only that they're providing. So major support is for your SQL that you'll be getting it over here. If I go ahead further, all your analysis tool, your machine learning, that's the new thing that has been integrated over here, the artificial intelligence, AI, and the machine learning also, you have got it over here. So you can make use of that as well. You go ahead further, and the very booming thing that is going on into the market that you've got right now is your Internet of Things, IoT, right? So you can use the Azure is also providing you the IoT platform, right, where you can go ahead and work with Internet of Things, right? And later it's something, okay, again something new is provided over here, that's integration, right? So integration, so these kind of tools will be used whenever you're integrating different kind of applications together, or any other things that you would like to integrate, right? Then you got your identity services, where they're providing you the directory or Azure directory, which can be synced with your off-premises to on-premises, off-premises to the cloud, that can be integrated over here, right? And manage, the last thing comes your security you have got, right? So all where you got your key vaults and all your Active Directory securities would also be configured over here, right? So about the security, I have already explained you in the previous video. So here I'm just taking a walkthrough over here to show you where are the things available over here. Go further down, your DevOps tool, your migrate tools are available, and your management tools, right? So here all your monitoring tools are available, the different kind of automation are available here. Then you got something called as there's something called as Network Watcher, right? So the Network Watcher is the one that you'll be purely using for monitoring your network, the load that is coming up onto the network. Then you have got your operation logs, right? So all these operations logs are all about what are the activities that have been done, right? Whatever related to the operational management that you have done, right? So all those logs will be finding it out over here. Then you got something called as Application Insight. Now Application Insight is used for, now see, we have Resource Manager and Application Insight. When I talk about Application Insight, it is completely or purely for monitoring the applications, right? With the help of Application Insight, you cannot go ahead and monitor the entire environment, or the entire resources cannot be monitored with the help of that. Then you got Intune, and there are a few other tools are also available, right? So this is the services, whichever services you want, you can use it from here. Whichever service would you like to deploy, that can be done from here. That's one thing. Then you have the second thing that you have got is all about your subscription. So here, right, so what kind of subscription you are having, right? So I have created this particular Azure account using my MCT login ID. So using the MCT, I have created this particular Azure account, right? So you see here subscription, it says me as Azure Pass, and my subscription ID is also given over here. What exactly my role is, what is the current cost that I have been used, and what exactly is the status of my account, or I could, in other terms, I would say that subscription that I have taken, what is the status of that, whether it is active or it is gone, right? So what you can do is you can go ahead and add a few more subscriptions to this. So by default, whenever you are taking a subscription, Azure will definitely generally provide you somewhere, before and all, it used to provide somewhere around 13,000 rupees, right? So but that amount can only be used within the Azure portal. You cannot go ahead and withdraw that amount, right? Then your all resources, so what are the different kinds of resources that you have created onto your Azure portal, right, or onto your cloud? What are the resources that you have created? That will be listed under your all resources. So let's see what are the things that I have got under my all resources. It quite generally takes some time to load up. So you can see here, so these are the list that you see here. These are the different resources that I have created on my Azure account, right? And coming to your resource groups, right? So as I have already told you, any point of time that you would like to create any of these services over here, right? Or let's say I have to go ahead and create a virtual machine, then I would need a resource group, right? So already I have 2 resource group. If I want, I can go ahead and create the multiple a few more resource groups I can go ahead and create on this part. Or if application services, so I don't have, I think probably I wouldn't have been created any of the application services. Oh, okay, there's one application service available over here by the name, I was just given a name as the Gray Production, right? So likewise, you can go ahead and create any of the application service that you would like to have. Your function app, same way it goes for your the SQL databases, your virtual machines, right? So I have few virtual machines available over here. So we can go ahead and create a few more virtual machines also. So definitely in this walkthrough, I'll just show you a small practical of creating the virtual machines. So since this is all about the fundamentals course that we are going through as of now, right? So we'll not go ahead and have a deep dive inside this, right? So I'll just show you how exactly we go ahead and create the virtual machines. So after a while, I'll show you that. Then same thing goes to the load balancers, your different storage accounts, your virtual networks, your Active Directory, right? So here you can have multiple directories you can have over here. It's not necessary that if I have created one single account, I can have only one directory created on Azure. I can go ahead and create the multiple directories onto the Azure platform. So if you see here, if I just go ahead and hold my cursor here, it'll show you what are the different kind of directories are available. Right, so right now you see there's only one single directory is available. If I want, I can go ahead and create the multiple directories also onto this. The same thing here goes with your monitoring, your security center, the cost management and billing. So under the cost management billing, you'll be able to retrieve your bills. What is the current outstanding that you're having, or you can say till the date, how much resources you have used. So accordingly, your bill would be represented here. Right, so I'll just go ahead and show how exactly we go ahead and create a virtual machine out of it, right? So I just go to the under my all resources, I just go ahead and reach the virtual machines tab, and here I can just go ahead and go with add option, right? So add option is all for, so here what I'm doing is I'm adding a new virtual machine to this, right? So here you see you have got the Red Hat machine, you need a Windows server, right? So all these things that you see, that you are able to see onto the screen right now, these are nothing but your templates. These are pre-configured machines which already have the operating system inside this. So once you can select any of the templates, or any of the machine can be selected over here. The advantage here is going to be that the deployment is going to be quite faster, and you don't have to go ahead and install any of the operating system into that. So whichever you're going to select. So let's say I go ahead and select Windows Server 2016 Data Center Edition, right? So already there's going to be the operating system available inside that, right? So let's say I just go ahead and select a Windows Server machine. Now once I select the Windows Server machine, now here you'll see which operating system, which machine would you like to create, right? So let's say I'll go ahead and create a Windows Server 2012 data center. I'll go ahead and create it from here. Now, as I told you, the deployment method, the resource manager, in which resource would you like to deploy this? So let's say I will just drop down this. I'll just go ahead and do my, so classic is a default resource that would be, or the default resource manager that would be created, or the default resources you'll be having it. Now you need to provide the name to this virtual machine, the username to this, right? All those details has to be filled in, right? So let me just fill it up. So I'm just giving a random name as student1. Okay, got a green tick. Now the username for this, let's say I'll call it as student1, right? And password for this user, right? So it says the password not valid, it's not accepting it. Okay, So password matches over here. So which kind of subscription would you like to use here? So I just have an Azure Pass, so I'm using that. Now resource group, you want to use an existing resource group, or you would like to go ahead and use a new resource group. Let me just go with an existing group. I will just drop down this. Let's say I just selected any of the. You can go ahead and select the location where exactly would you like to go ahead and place this virtual machine, and which data centers or which location or which geographical location you're going to go ahead and place this virtual machine. I will just go with next. Now here you need to go ahead and select about what resources would you like to have, right? So here the price also, it is loading at the same point of time, right? So more the number of resources that you're going to go ahead and select over here, right? Accordingly your price would vary from that. So I'm just not going to go ahead and select these kind of machines, heavy charging machines. So I just select a machine which is not going to charge you much. Let me find for a smaller instance now. Okay, I will just go ahead and select these, the basic one, which is going to charge me 4,425 rupees per month. It is going to charge me. So I've select this and proceed with next. So disk storage, what kind of storage it is giving you, the storage account details, which network it will go ahead and get connected, right? So all these details is listing me here. So I'm just going with the standard, and I just go with okay. Summary of your machine, what are the things that you have configured on that, and just go with okay. Now you can see here that submitting deployment for Windows Server, right? So it will take quite some time. So meanwhile what I can do is I'll go to the virtual machines and I'll wait here. So it'll take quite some time to process the request. So once the request will be processed, right, once your machine is created, so you see here, so this is how your machine will be available, and you can just select what you can do in that. You can just select the machine, just go back once. I can right click on the machine and go ahead with connect. Now you see the connect is disabled because the virtual machine is deallocated, right? So because for this particular machine I have deallocated the resources, right? So we need to wait for this particular deployment to be completed, and so see here it is still the deployment is in progress, right? So once the deployment will be completed, I will just select the machine and I'll click on connect. So once I click on connect, what will happen is an RDP file will get downloaded, the remote desktop file. Just go ahead and double click on that and provide the username and password to it. So now what is going to be the username and password? So that is going to be, so while creating the virtual machine, at the time of creating the virtual machine, the user ID and the username and the password that we have given, the same username and password, you have to use it, and you will go ahead and get connected to your machine. Thank you.